The story begins on a quiet river where a small boat is slowly drifting across the water. On the boat are Andy, his wife, and their young daughter. Everything looks peaceful at first, but this world is no longer the same. As they travel down the river, Andy notices a family standing on the shore. He waves at them in a friendly way. However, the man standing there suddenly points a gun at him. He does not want anyone coming close to his family because the world has become extremely dangerous. A deadly virus has spread everywhere. Once a person gets infected, they turn into a zombie within 48 hours. Andy continues moving forward with his family, but there is a serious problem. Their food supply is almost gone. His wife is worried about what they will eat next. Andy tries to calm her down. He tells her that everything will be fine and that he will find a solution. A short time later, Andy notices a damaged boat floating nearby. He decides to check it. Inside, he finds a large amount of food and supplies. But while searching the cabin, he suddenly feels that something is wrong. It seems like someone or something is hiding inside. Andy senses danger immediately. He grabs the supplies and quickly returns to his houseboat. His wife is happy when she sees all the food. Andy tells her that they now have enough supplies to survive for 2 or 3 months. Unfortunately, greed takes over. Without telling Andy, his wife secretly returns to the broken boat to collect more supplies. As she comes back out, something suddenly drags her inside. When Andy reaches her, he sees that her leg has been badly injured. He instantly realizes that something terrible has happened. His wife explains that she was bitten by something that felt like human fingers. That means a zombie attacked her. This news shocks Andy. He knows exactly what it means. He tells her that they still have 48 hours before the infection completely takes over. He promises that he will find a doctor no matter what happens. His wife tells him not to risk everything for her. But Andy refuses to give up. He cannot accept losing her. He leaves the safety of the houseboat and takes his family onto the road in search of medical help. Along the way, they pass many abandoned vehicles. Andy manages to start one of the cars and continues the journey with his wife and daughter. However, the virus starts spreading through his wife's body very quickly. She could turn into a zombie at any moment. She asks Andy to leave her behind so that he and their daughter can stay safe. But Andy refuses. He comforts her and helps her sit back in the car. They continue driving, but suddenly a zombie appears right in front of them. Andy loses control of the vehicle and a violent crash follows. The accident is devastating. A large wooden piece shoots through the car and pierces Andy's wife through the stomach. Andy is also injured and loses consciousness. When he finally wakes up, he sees that the infection has completely taken over his wife's body. She has turned into a zombie. Before losing her final moments of awareness, she had written a message on the car door. The message says, "Save her," meaning their daughter must survive. Andy reaches toward the back seat to pick up his little girl, but at that moment, his zombie wife bites his arm. Fighting through the pain, Andy manages to grab his daughter and escape from the wrecked car. After escaping from the wrecked car, Andy is left with 2 painful realities. He has lost his wife, and now he is infected as well. The bite on his arm means he only has 48 hours left before he turns into a zombie. The thought of dying does not scare him as much as one question: who will take care of his daughter when he is gone? Knowing that time is running out, Andy sets a 48-hour alarm to remind himself exactly how much time he has left. While moving forward with his daughter, he suddenly notices the same man who had appeared in front of their car before the crash. Andy walks closer and quickly realizes that the man is fully infected. Before he can react, a young girl arrives. Her name is Thumi. She explains that the infected man is actually her father. Instead of abandoning him, she has found a way to keep him under control. She has tied a cloth around his mouth so he cannot bite anyone. Then she makes a small cut on her own hand and lets some blood drip onto a nearby tree. The infected man immediately follows the smell and starts licking the blood from the tree. Andy realizes what she is doing. Thumi uses her blood to guide her father wherever she wants him to go. The infected man follows her direction like a shadow. Wherever Thumi moves, her father slowly follows behind her. Meanwhile, Andy continues his journey with his daughter. As they walk through the area, he notices a street light suddenly turn on. This makes him realize that someone must be nearby. Following the light, he discovers an old school building. Andy enters the school and meets a woman living there. She treats the wounds on his body and offers him a place to stay for the night. Later that evening, Andy looks outside and notices a group of Aboriginal people gathered around a fire. Among them, one woman keeps calling out Thumi's name over and over again. Andy soon learns that this woman is Thumi's mother. She is desperately searching for her missing daughter. At the same time, the story shows what Thumi has been doing. She has hidden her infected father by burying him in the ground so nobody can find him. She knows that the tribal people kill every infected person they see. Thumi loves her father deeply and refuses to give up on him. She wants to protect him no matter what condition he is in. The next morning, Andy prepares to leave the school. He cannot stay there any longer because his infection is getting worse with every passing hour. He also knows that he cannot leave his daughter with the woman at the school because her health is already very poor. Before Andy leaves, leaves, the woman shows him a photograph of Thumi and her father together. She explains that Thumi truly loves her father and would do anything for him. The woman tells Andy that if he wants to give his daughter a second chance at life, he should find Thumi and trust her with the child. Taking her advice seriously, Andy leaves the school and continues his search. A short time later, he spots a vehicle. As he approaches and reaches for the door, sudden gunshots echo through the area. Andy quickly turns and sees a man lying on the ground. At first, it seems like the shots were fired at him, but then he realizes the truth. The man was actually shooting at a zombie that was following behind Andy. The stranger warns him that the sound of gunfire will attract more infected very quickly. He tells Andy to help him get out of there immediately. Andy notices that the man is trapped beneath a large metal cylinder. Using the nearby vehicle, Andy manages to pull the heavy object away and free him. Once the man is rescued, they waste no time leaving the area. The stranger introduces himself as Vic and takes Andy and his daughter back to his home. Vic's wife also lives there. The house is completely secure and protected from the infected. Zombies cannot reach this place. After they arrive, Vic decides to take Andy with him to another location. When they arrive, Andy sees a large number of infected people gathered around a cage. Vic explains that they need to kill them. The two men work together and hunt down all the infected, but when they finally get close to the cage, Andy is shocked by what he sees. Thumi is locked inside. Andy immediately asks what is going on. Vic calmly explains his plan. He says that you cannot catch fish without bait. He uses people like Thumi to attract infected individuals. After killing them, he collects anything valuable they are carrying. He believes that one day the world will return to normal. When that happens, all those valuables will make him rich. Andy is disgusted by what he hears. He thinks Vic's actions are completely wrong. But Vic tells him to stop thinking only about other people and focus on his daughter instead. Andy also notices that Vic has imprisoned an elderly Aboriginal man in another cage. Afterward, they return to the house. That night, Andy puts his daughter to sleep in her crib and quietly walks outside. He is thinking about ending his own life because he knows the infection is spreading through his body. Before he can do anything, Vic's wife arrives and stops him. She tells Andy that his daughter is not safe in this house. Then she reveals a terrible secret. Vic is not her real husband. He killed her actual husband and took his place. She warns Andy that if he truly wants to save his daughter, he needs to leave as soon as possible. Andy tells her that he only has 20 hours left before he turns. He explains that earlier in his journey he saw a family living near a riverbank. He believes he might be able to leave his daughter with them, but before they can make a plan, Vic suddenly appears. He captures Andy and locks him inside the same cage where Thumi is being held. At first, Thumi is afraid of him. She keeps her distance and does not trust him. Andy gently tells her that she has nothing to fear. He promises that he will not hurt her. Now both of them must find a way to escape. Andy comes up with a clever plan. He ties a piece of meat to one end of a chain and wraps the other end around the cage door. Then he throws the meat far away from the cage. The infected people rush toward the meat and begin pulling on it. As they drag the chain, the cage door is forced open. Andy and Thumi quickly escape and run back toward Vic's house. Andy grabs his daughter and tells Vic's wife, Lorraine, to come with them. Just as they are about to leave, Vic wakes up. He raises his gun and prepares to shoot Andy. Before he can kill him, Lorraine steps in front of the gun. The bullet hits her instead. She dies instantly. Andy, his daughter, and Thumi run away as fast as they can. Vic chases after them, but the three manage to hide. After searching for a while, Vic gives up and returns home. The next morning, Thumi goes to the place where she had hidden her infected father. When she arrives, she discovers that he is dead. His body is trapped among pieces of wood and there is nothing she can do. Seeing her father dead breaks her heart. Andy tries to comfort her. He explains that her father had already died a long time ago. The infection was the only thing keeping his body moving, but Thumi is too upset to listen. Andy wants her to come with him to the riverbank where he saw the family earlier. He believes they may be able to help his daughter. However, Thumi refuses to go. With no other choice, Andy leaves alone with his little girl. Later, he checks his timer and realizes that he only has 9 hours left before the infection completely takes over. He must reach the riverbank before time runs out, but as he continues walking, the virus suddenly hits him hard. He suffers a violent seizure and collapses to the ground. Everything goes black. When Andy finally regains consciousness, he looks around in panic and discovers that his daughter is gone. The truth is that Thumi had taken Andy's daughter with her. After everything that had happened, she now wanted to keep the little girl safe. She understood how important the child was to Andy. Because of that, she decided to help both of them. Thumi knew every path through the forest. She knew shortcuts that nobody else could find. Using her knowledge of the area, she guided Andy and his daughter through the wilderness and quickly brought them to the riverbank. Soon, Andy arrived at the exact place where he had seen that family earlier in the story. But things had changed. The family's leader had already been bitten by a zombie and was beginning to turn. When he saw Andy, he pointed a gun at him. Then he explained that the revolver contained 6 bullets. He said that 4 bullets were for his family. Andy could use the remaining 2 bullets for himself and his daughter if he wanted. The man had already accepted that there was no hope left for them. Andy immediately tried to stop him. He told the man that giving up was not the answer. He could not leave his own family in a place where nobody was truly safe. Taking his daughter with him, Andy walked away. A few moments later, 3 gunshots echoed through the area. Andy understood exactly what had happened. The man had killed his family and then taken his own life. Andy returned and picked up the revolver. Now only 2 bullets remained inside. He stood there holding the weapon, unsure of what to do next. Meanwhile, Thumi entered the family's tent. While looking around, she noticed Andy's bag. Curious, she opened it. Inside, she found the same photograph that the sick woman at the school had given to Andy earlier. The picture showed Thumi, her father, and the rest of her family together. The moment she saw the photo, her trust in Andy became even stronger. She realized that he truly cared about helping her and protecting the people around him. Thumi walked over to Andy and told him that she wanted to return to her people. Then she asked if he would come with her. Andy agreed without hesitation. Thumi pointed toward a column of smoke rising in the distance and explained that her people were somewhere in that direction. Together, Andy, his daughter, and Thumi began traveling toward the smoke. Their journey led them through a railway tunnel. As they moved forward, they suddenly spotted Vic ahead of them. Luckily, Vic had not seen them yet. Andy reacted quickly. He hid Thumi and his daughter inside a nearby car and told them to stay quiet. Then he walked away and joined a line of zombies that Vic had tied up. Vic was moving from one infected person to another, killing them one by one. As he got closer, Andy waited for the perfect moment. The instant Vic reached him, Andy pulled out the revolver and tried to attack. A fierce struggle broke out between the 2 men. They fought desperately, but Andy was already weak from the infection and his injuries. Vic eventually overpowered him. He grabbed the revolver away and shot Andy with it. After that, Vic headed toward the car where Thumi and Andy's daughter were hiding. He dragged Thumi out of the vehicle and threw her aside. She slammed into a truck and lost consciousness. Blood began running down from her head. With Thumi out of the way, Vic picked up Andy's daughter and carried her off. He sat down nearby with the child in his arms. Despite being wounded, Andy somehow managed to get back on his feet. Fighting through the pain, he staggered toward Vic. He begged him to give his daughter back. Vic refused. Filled with anger and bitterness, he shouted that Andy had taken Lorraine away from him. Now he was going to take Andy's daughter in return. Andy looked directly at him and answered with the truth. He told Vic that Lorraine was never really his to begin with. Hearing those words, Vic suddenly falls silent. For a moment, he stops and thinks about what Andy has just said. Deep inside, he knows that Andy is right. The guilt he has been carrying for so long finally catches up with him. Realizing the truth, Vic gives Andy's daughter back. With the child safe once again, Andy, Thumi, and the little girl continue their journey. However, the road ahead is becoming harder with every step. Thumi is struggling to walk. The injury on her head is serious and she has already lost a lot of blood. Seeing her condition, Andy supports her and tells her that she cannot give up now. He explains that if she loses consciousness, they may never reach their destination. Andy encourages her to stay strong, and together they slowly continue moving forward. As time passes, the infection inside Andy becomes even worse. At one point, he suddenly loses control and begins running like a zombie, but then he hears his daughter's voice. That voice brings him back to reality and helps him regain control of himself. Even so, his condition is now extremely bad. His body is weakening with every minute. Eventually, Andy can no longer keep walking. He drops to his knees and looks at Thumi. In a weak voice, he asks her to promise that she will always take care of his daughter. Thumi looks directly into his eyes and promises that she will protect her. At that moment, Andy understands that his final moments as a human have arrived. He gently kisses his daughter on the forehead and holds her close one last time. Then he asks Thumi for the small box that contains the restraint loop used to tie hands. At the same time, the story cuts to the place where the smoke is rising. There, Thumi's mother and her tribe are burning infected bodies after killing them. That is the reason so much smoke is filling the sky. A little later, a figure slowly emerges through the thick smoke. It is Andy. On his back are both his daughter and Thumi. By now, Andy has completely turned into a zombie, yet somehow he is still moving forward to save the people he loves. Earlier, Andy had given Thumi a piece of meat tied to a stick. He knew that zombies are naturally drawn toward meat. Because of that, whenever Thumi moved the meat in a certain direction, zombie Andy followed it. In this way, Thumi was able to guide him toward the tribe's safe location. Eventually, all 3 of them reached the camp. Thumi continues holding Andy's hand even though he is no longer human. The tribe understands that there is only one thing left to do. Andy must be put down. Before fully turning, Andy had already placed a piece of wood inside his mouth so that he would not be able to bite anyone even if he wanted to. The tribe members kill him with a spear, but they do it with complete respect and honor. Thumi and her mother keep Andy's daughter with them and accept her as part of their family. Before his transformation, Andy had written the words "thank you" on his daughter's stomach using the tribe's sacred white ash. It was his final message of gratitude. In the final scenes, the tribe welcomes Andy's daughter into their community and raises her as one of their own. Andy is also given a respectful funeral, just like the one given to Thumi's father. With that emotional farewell, this touching and heartbreaking story comes to an end. If you liked this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel to see more such videos. Thanks for watching.